Hello everyone. Well, I just began a video and I kind of got off because there's so much. I was saying how, one day you get so many things you want to reply and speak, and then you get back up in the morning and you have other comments and so much more you want to say. And so I thought I was just going to, sum up a few things in a video. You don't know what to begin, which one to speak on first, but um, so I'm going to go ahead and post it, although it's kind of, and I got cut off because of my battery. I had to, go get I told you this thing does not keep a charge well. But so I'm just going to try to speak a couple little videos today because I got a lot to do. It's my son's birthday today. But we're not going to celebrate it until we're going to take him out to eat and give him some money. My son, Ben, him and his girlfriend's going to her grandfather or something's birthday also today. They're in Brown County, Indiana. But then tomorrow we're celebrating my two granddaughters' birthday at my Aunt Teresa, which a lot of my family that I haven't really seen in a while is going to be there. And so I still have to go get something for my grandbabies also today. And got a lot going on. So I'm just going to try to put out a couple short videos, just, a couple things I want to, and we'll speak, more on. I was trying to make the one where I was just going to sum up everything, touch on everything I wanted to, that's been presented today and even yesterday. But I think it's best maybe, if I just, one thing at a time, so that's what I'm going to try to do here. And also when I began that video, and I'll post it, although when you're trying to hold, you don't have notes and you're trying to, think of what you're speaking on now, and then more things come as you speak, and then you're still trying to remember, don't forget to say this, don't forget to say this. So notes are good, but if I can just bring one thought at a time. So where to start? How about where I got cut off yesterday? And then also, this computer, I can't bring up my comment, as I know, and I wanted to look again to what Son of John had posted some other scriptures. See, that's the layers of truth. There's, by what you're speaking, put it into context of what's being spoken, what's trying to be shown. Like when I spoke the casting pearls before swine, when you have the eyes of spirit, you go to the scripture and into the original, what was originally writ. You can, like I said, you can take only a layer of understanding from what is presented in the translation, but there's depth beneath. So, and I was relating, the swine, which these parables are given also, that you can learn from them. You have to look into the parable, discover how these things that are written in the parable works. I mean, there's just so much, and I need to really start working on, expounding these things. The parable of the fig tree, what is spoken, what is, what can you learn from all that happens with that fig tree? There's some, that's a big study, though. That it would be a lot to present. But what you just, like, concerning, when I was speaking, whatever I was speaking on yesterday when I spoke of the swine, that's what comes right to you. What concerning the conversation that's being spoken, that's the layer that's given to you right then. And, what does a swine do? They look to the swine. And there's so much more, like I'm saying, depending on what is the conversation. But what does a swine do? And I wanted to actually look up these things before I presented it, so then I can present better and more exact understanding, They eat slop, they wallow in slop. They eat all of that. They just, I really wanted to look it up first. And so how do we relate that to what the unclean, those who are filled with unclean, and those who spew these things out of their mouth. Well, how do you relate that to those who don't have no room in them because they've wallowed in the slop? They're unclean inside, taking filth inside and out. You know, but it's more what they eat. They just eat it all up. And that's eating up the garbage, the slop. And that's what, when you're going out to all these different channels that's putting out garbage, they're putting out carnal, just the perishable things. And you're eating it up here, eating up everything they put in the slop bucket. And that's when I said, don't cast your pearls before swine. Don't cast your treasures. Because what they do, you give them a pearl and they might see the shiny pearl, recognize, maybe recognize, but, I really wanted to study this so I could present it rightly. But when you're just saying something that comes as you're speaking, when that swine pearl thing, that just came and I just, it comes to your remembrance. But then they taint it. They take that pearl, that nugget of truth you've given them. And because of all that slop that is filled up in them, they taint it. And then they put it back forth dirty, corrupted. They corrupt the treasure that you have offered. And that's why, I saw, there's so many steps that I saw, this one. There's some out there who appear to be, speaking the word. And they think themselves teachers and they have many followers. Now, I'm not talking about the ones who are truly expounding as Lively expounds, which I haven't. I don't. There's no way you can have the time to go and keep up with everyone. The best you can do is a comment or a reply or check in to see. And, I have my own work to do. My work done to me, my own work to put forth, but what's happening is, as we are each putting all these things forth, it's reconciliation. It's bringing us into unity as we each here put these things out and then see more eye to eye. This is the work that's going on. It's not what trash and what slop these channels are putting out. You present light, life, light, and truth. And then you enable others. You don't teach them. You speak a word of truth rightly. And then that enables others. You offer the light. You don't offer to teach them the meaning, they're so hard for me to explain it, and I will try to explain sometime, but through maybe, just examples of some teaching, how they do it, and one today, which, and start going to look. I want to say this. Go look to what these who proclaim that they are the brethren and they're speaking for the Most High, and and then go look at their channels. Go see just go look at their homepage or look at what they're posting and see if even the titles bear witness to light, or if it's just all darkness. Darkness can't cast out darkness. When you present darkness, you're just making things darker. You're not giving light that others might be able to see. And even if there's truth in your darkness, you're still not doing anything for the kingdom of light. You're just revealing darkness. There's a difference between teachers and those who give their witness and account and testimony. They're not teaching what they've learned or heard of another. They're showing you, they're expounding the meaning in context of what's spoken. Not telling you what this means and this is set in stone, because there's, when you set the scripture in stone, you can't learn from it. You can't get the depths. You can't peel off the layers of truths. And going back to, this also goes to, when you go and see these channels who proclaim that they, are of the truth and teachers and think themselves wise, look at their channels and see if it's nothing, if it's just full of the world and full of the darkness that's going on in the world. And tell me how that is going to give you light from them presenting the darkness. How has that helped you to separate that light, that darkness from the light? And also, you go to these who are doing that and then and see what they're putting forth. And then when they claim that many are going to be burning in hell, or, they're the ones that's going to inherit the kingdom of heaven, which they don't understand. Look at the ones who, do you want to be there with those? Because they're always the one that's pointing fingers, condemning, casting down other brethren. Is that who you would want to spend eternity with? Now then look at the true brethren who are coming and hearing one another and sharing with one another. Who would you want to spend eternity with? Can you imagine? Because these think that somehow that they are somehow going to be carried off into this eternity, or when they die, or when whatever happens, and they're somehow going to be changed when you get there, and you're going to live peacefully with one another in unity, when you can't be you haven't found unity and peace with one another here, but you only condemn one another. It's not magic. The word was given, every word of scripture, that you could, these things was given so that you could be reminded of spirit and walk in spirit and newness and learn. I'm getting a little off. I'm getting ready to. I hope something made sense. What else can I say right quick? And that's kind of it. They're not even offering you pearls. They're not offering light. They're not offering truth. They're just showing you. This is why I didn't want, I knew whatever I would present to those who could not really, who know not really what's happened within myself and within the brethren. They just take their part and they'll mix it. They'll mix it in with their slop and try to make it as though they are a part. It's like giving them, I felt like it was giving them, I felt like giving the truth is aiding them to even corrupt the word, and to deceive their followers, even more greatly. I don't know if that makes, I can't explain what I'm saying. There's no teacher. There's one teacher in the spirit. You walk this, and it was all, and what was given to you in the scripture is only for those who have spirit to understand. The carnal man will only hear the carnal, but they try to take the things of spirit and add it to their carnal understanding and put it out. And we are not teachers, we are witness. And then again, there's another layer, because the scripture is our witness. Man will witness what's written in the carnal letter to one another, but the spirit It's what you present from the scriptures that shows whether you walk in spirit or flesh, whether carnal understanding or of spirit, is what you bring forth. And then when you share the things of spirit with these carnal who take it and taint it, that's why I went casting out your pearls before swine, because this is what they will do. I hope that made sense. Sometimes it's just, there's so much more I need to say, I know, but how do I put this also? I could add this little bit in. That's why I was kind of upset with a certain brother out there. Because I wouldn't mind going back to see how I was, when I first tried. It was so hard, and I felt so good about things I had put out, and then to get rebuked for it. And I did not know, it took me a while to get over a certain couple. And then, but then when that had, in their own puffed up in knowledge, they, not understanding what I had spoken, they was acting as if they was here to correct me when it was them that needed the correcting. And I'd go back to look, and then I found that the same ones was speaking against others that I am a witness for. That the Spirit has witnessed between things that I've sat here my whole life and in these years having revealed to me, then he's seeing these other brethren who are confirming what they have been given in spirit as they've sat alone learning these same things. And then these same ones, I hear condemning them and even calling them false prophets and false teachers and thinking, warning people of them. Now, the thing is, now you say that you're starting to hear, and I know you are, some, and certain one, you've heard, but, and I haven't looked at what you've been saying, here recently, but have you ever, you still act like, you thought yourself a teacher. You thought yourself sent. Because you didn't know. We all hear that calling. But it's those who endure for the truth and for the word's sake that makes it to through the purging to where their word is true. And then they are truly sent. You have to be purified. The word has to be purified in you before you are sent to another. But when you have not went, no one, and then you try to make me the offense, or when someone rebukes you for what you've spoken, you make, they're like, as if they're the ones who offended. No, you have offended many, and you have spoken wrong against those who have brought to you truth. Have you went and have you admitted to those who follow or watch your videos? Have you admitted to the brethren that you've wronged, that you've spoken evil of? Have you been reconciled with them first before you come and try to be a part and act like you've just always been here, going right along with the Spirit, when you've in fact spoke against the things of the Spirit? I hope that made sense. I will speak more on it. There's just layers, and there's so much more to get, but when you just use what you're trying to show forth, you use the Spirit understanding of the parables, because there's just so much in them. There's just so much in every word of Scripture. You know, and we who've had the work, you know, when I go in beneath the Greek and I just follow the conversation, you're taking in so much, but you can't put that out like that, but little by little, you know, and it really is to look at, also another thing, to look at the heart that's presenting. How would you recognize one another? If you have love for one another. And when these are coming in condemnation and the voice of hatred, pointing out in judgment, know the voice of love from the voice of condemnation. It's not, and they stand and act like they're here somehow defending and trying to maybe help others through all the condemnation that they spread and speak. If there's no love in your voice and in your purpose and will for what you're doing, then you're not of the Spirit. You're not of the truth. You are of, you're filled up of the world and of the slop and of the, you know. And then you try to come and you can't. I'm getting a little off, so. Now, you will recognize one another by their love. Agape. Did I say it right? Sometimes I wish I could take, you know, a course in Greek, and sometimes I wish I had someone that was really just, you know, really learned in it, that to help me to sit here and let me, whose heart was right and who is, you know, has the, you know, that I could show, that we could sit together and just translate again what was beneath the letter in the original Scripture. You know, I can only do, you know, so much of bringing it forth. I know through following the conversation, but to actually write it all out and present it, that's, you know, but I that's why we're here, to bear witness. And that's another thing I was going to say, the things that I, you know, held in these years, because you know, my understanding is not, our understanding is growing completer as we're speaking. And that's why I am more open to speak these things now, because I know there's others out there who can edify what I say, what I will testify to. They have their part, and then together the understanding grows, and didn't anything make sense? I hope so. Anyway, I will get better at this. At presenting is just when you have so much you want to put out, and you know, just in one day how much is spoken in comments and you want to reply to. So many I've seemed to have put off even, you know. But I'm getting my channels together. Whether this one gets, you know, did I say that on here, where cursed be the one who wants to come and delete my videos if he ends up getting in here to, you know, I don't even want to say cursed be, but if you would delete videos that I have only put out, that a word I say might help another to get through this trial and this, you know, if you would delete those videos, then you are something I don't recognize. So I'm gonna go with that. I hope something made sense. I do love you all. Many blessings. Oh, wait. I want to say one more thing concerning the darkness that I just went through one channel and just everything, all of it, just, and that was not love. It was just hatred and disgust and just pointing a finger and condemnation. And I don't care what you're pointing out. But this one certain channel, and even if it's something truth to it, don't you have something better that you could present? This one certain one, which I've recently had a conflict with something that had been spoken in a video or a comment or something. But I'm going to say, and she'll know if she watches, or someone else that watches her, she'll know who I'm talking about. Because in all that darkness of the world that you're presenting and, pointing out, one thing was, that's what made me click, Sandra Bullock. I always, I've not watched a lot of shows, but I've always liked Sandra Bullock. I guess I've watched movies. Can't recall right off, but I know that, Miss Congeniality, I think, was one. But, and I'm not saying there might not be some kind of truth to some of the things that you say. But, light puts off light, darkness puts off darkness. And there's more. I'll have to do a whole video on that also. But that's what made me click on the video, because it was Sandra Bullock being a male, trainee, the trainee Sandra Bullock. And I must admit that the legs and the whole thing, but they're all that, even if it was true, there was others I just clicked on briefly just to see who you was calling trannies. And some of them, no, I didn't see it at all. But just how you was so adamantly, I'd be sure before I go speaking something, this, like this of anyone, but even, she had all these, Matt Damon's really a female, all these, and that's all the last works that she's put out. Satan can't cast out Satan. Darkness can't make light. You putting this out, that does nothing for the light. And it is through revealing of the light, shining the light, then all becomes manifest. And also, you want to, even if that was true, even with Sandra or any of them, even if all of them was true, you making it as some world, that's in you made up through what you've gathered. You have nothing to show that that's really some world Illuminati, plan. Because there is people who are born. There is, and I consider all things. That's why I don't speak against, that's why I just try to give light to help no matter what someone might be going through. There's people that's born with it, female inside and they're male. What about those? What about the little boy that's born with a woman's ovaries and stuff within? Do you condemn them also? You don't know that some of those, maybe if they was, that might not be what's happened, but you're making it like some grave conspiracy. But the biggest point is it's darkness, and that's all that you have on every one of your videos that I just clicked on. That's not working for the kingdom of light, shining darkness. You shine light in the darkness. You don't just reveal the darkness. There is a difference. There's a way the kingdom of darkness works and the way the kingdom of light works. And I do love you all. Many blessings.